Bitcoin closed over $70,000. Bitfarms is holding up well above $2.30, and the Clean Spark monthly update has come in. So first of all, let's take a look at Bitcoin, see what that looks like. Then we'll talk about the Clean Spark monthly update, and then we'll wrap things up with Bitfarms here. So Bitcoin closed over $70,000 yesterday. You can see we've got a little candle right up here. We're holding right now at $70,800. We really want to see this thing come up and get above 71.5, 74, 75-ish, preferably even a little higher at 72,000. That would be very definitive because that would get just over the wick there. But basically anything above the bodies here at 71.5 is pretty good. But really to make it stand out, we really want to see it get over that $72,000 range here pretty soon. Now, we aren't overbought on the RSI. We've got the volume oscillator is still pointing the correct direction for this. We are a bit lifted off of the 20 and the 5-day SMAs, which the 5 days down here at $69,059. So we do have some room to come down a little bit before charging back up again. But the way you know Bitcoin likes to move, it often likes to just take off and keep taking off. Like it likes to take off, hang out for a day or two, let the 5 catch up, tap the 5, then take off again. That might be something that we see here. We might see it kind of flag here for another day or two between, $70 and $72,000, somewhere in that range. For another 2, 3 days, let the 5 catch up, and once the 5 taps it, it just takes right off again, just like it did back here on May 19th. So from May 16th to 19th, kind of it was flagging with some slight upward trend to that flag. But as soon as it tapped the 5, it just took right off the very next day. And we could be looking at something like that right now, which would, if that were to happen, see how this candle was 7%, and then this one was also 7%. So let's see our big one. Our big candle was about 2.5%. Where would 2.5% take us from where we currently are? 2.5 would take us right to 72.53. So not quite a new all-time high, but it would confirm this pattern in an upward direction, get us above the height of this previous cycle high at 71,968. So that would be pretty great. And it would get us right in spitting distance of the all-time high, which honestly, once we're that close, it's basically like a magnet. It's pretty much going to take us right up to it once we get up there. So that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin right now. Let's see if there's anything in our way in terms of fibs. Nope. The next fib line, the 618 on the upside, is all the way up here at 77,000, which would be a new all-time high. So that's pretty good. There's nothing in our way right now. We're really just kind of pausing, taking a pause, taking a breath on the way up, and we'll continue our way up soon, very likely. All right, let's take a look at the Clean Spark monthly update. So this is, again, their first month post-halving and the results of that. So they mined 417 Bitcoin, which was a decrease from April of from 721, right? So it was 417 from 721 in April. Now, that's really what we want to do is compare it to March, because March was the last full month of pre-halving rewards, and it was at 806. So it's a little better than 50%. So their rewards were pretty close to being cut in half. So let's see, 806. Sorry, there we go. Yeah, almost 2 times. Let's get the exact. There we go. That's the exact percentage that they dropped, 51.7%. Just so it looks nice and clean, 51.7369% is how much Clean Spark has, basically mined from the previous month. So they're down 48.2 some odd percent. Okay. So that's to be expected. That's basically what we expected. Bitfarms did a little better than that. If you remember, they were mining closer to 60% of their pre-halving amount. But we did see that the current hash rate for Clean Spark is actually 17.97 now. And in April, it was 17.3. So it has increased. So their hash has increased. They also have, let's see, the operational update. Oh, yeah, they sold 2.43 Bitcoin. Current treasury is 6,154. And it was in April 5,739. So they are quickly closing in on right there with their treasury. Soon they might be closing in on HUT here. So that's pretty great. I like to see that. I'm very happy about that. One of these days we'll do a comparison of you know what? Let's do it now. Just like with Marathon, where we found out the general percentage of their market cap was made up by their treasury. Let's do that with CleanSpark real quick before I move on to their operational update. So let's see here. So we've got 6,154, 6,154. All right. Times that by what's Bitcoin's price right now? 70,650, 7,650. 400 and 434,780,100. CleanSpark's market cap currently is 3.6 billion. So let's divide that by 3.6 billion. All right. So it's about 11, almost 12% of their market cap. That's interesting. So it's about half, little less than half of what the market cap of Marathon's HODL is towards there. So we've got CleanSpark trading at a market cap where their Bitcoin is only worth about 12% of their overall market cap, which means that they're trading at a premium to Marathon, where their Bitcoin is getting twice the value that Marathon's is. That's quite interesting. That's some very interesting dynamics that are at play there. So that's pretty cool. So something that we're also going to look at here is the operational update. You can see here that they were talking about the Dalton expansion in this month's update. It's a 15 megawatt facility, and they're planning to get about 0.8 exahash from this. So after the expansion is totally complete, the Dalton campus, it'll operate with about 2.4 exahash. But if we add 0.8 exahash to the current exahash of 17.97, we get about 18.77 exahash we can expect as soon as this upgrade is done, and it should be pretty soon. Now it's not as you know inspiring as that move from 10 to 17, just Q1, but I like to see the growth in this company, and they are on their way to reaching their goals, and that's great for CleanSpark. All right, so let's see how CleanSpark is doing after this operational update. It's actually down 2% today. That sucks. Not enjoying that too much. So it is just kind of getting beaten down, hanging around this $15 range. We are kind of basing right here. And last time we did this little base, we did a nice little pop up in May, and we'll see. Like, it is looking similar to like what we saw in April before we saw that massive run up. And how much was that run up actually? It was 55%. So let's say if this were the bottom, 55% for us would take us to about 23, 24 bucks. That's pretty great. That'd be nice. That'd be nice to see. But we are doing a similar basing out like we did back here in April, where we came down for several days at a harsh angle, just like we're doing right now. We found a bit of a base. We did one more dip. So we're finding our base. We might do one more dip down to 15, possibly even down to 14.50 if there's bad news. And once that one more dip came in, we just started ripping out of it. So I'm looking for possibly one more little dip and then a rip. You can see that the volume is flattening here, kind of ticking up a tiny bit. RSI is pointing the wrong way though. Don't love that. Let's take a look at the SMAs. We are below too many of these SMAs. We have to get above $17.20 before I'm feeling bullish on this price action. We did just print a red arrow down, which isn't great. That could indicate that we would be basic. Like last time we got that, we printed that red arrow, we came down back to the bottom of the range, which would be around $15 right now. That's great. Every time we get a green arrow on this one, though, it seems to mark the top right now. I don't like. This is very much a coiling pattern here. This is very much either this is accumulation likely. This is likely accumulation given the period we are in the cycle. So we are looking for it to get over 1720. Once it's over 1720, the bulls have arrived, and we're looking at a big move up. Let's take a look at the fibs. Where are we at on the fibs? Oh, that's not great. We came up, touched the 382, and we are hanging out here. We haven't come back down to touch the midline of this thing since January. So that kind of concerns me that at some point maybe we'll make a run for this midline, which currently is at $13. And that scares me. That might be the September, like this might be the September, October low when we come back to this midline. At that point, though, it'll probably be back at $15, I bet you. Um, that's where I'd be looking for. So after the summer run, I'd be looking for it to maybe come up to the 618 here, like 24 bucks. And then around September, October, I'd be looking for it to be back around this purple line here, which currently is at $13, but around that time I expect it to be maybe 15, maybe higher than 15 at that point. So that's what I'm looking to do right now. I'm looking to swing this from where its current levels up to around the 618 level, which currently is around $24, and then look for it to come back down to the purple line before I'd be looking at loading back up again on CleanSpark right now. Let's take a look at Bitfarms. So Bitfarms is holding at $2.42, right? It's going to have to bid somewhere in the threes if they want to get their hands on this company, and it's barely getting in the overbought territory on the daily, and I bet you on the weekly it's not even close. Yeah, on the weekly it's not even close. There's so much more room to the upside on this thing. Now, will it just keep going parabolic like this? Maybe not. It might, peter out somewhere in the high twos, low threes here. We'll see. But volume is still in the right direction. RSI is only at 63, so there's a lot of room for it to move around. Let's see what the SMAs look like on this thing. We are above all the SMAs. They're starting to get in the correct order now. Where is the 20? Oh yeah, no, the 20 is right below the 50. So the 20 is about to cross the 50. Oh no, it's crossing the 50 right now, as indicated by my little green dot there. So they're all in the right order right now. We just want to see this 20 start to pull away from the 50. We want to see it continue to use the 5 as the area of support here, which it has been doing since May 17th. So that's great. We love to see that. As soon as it breaks the 5, though, very likely coming straight down to the 20. So let's hope that it holds the 5 for a few more days so the 20 can get a little higher here. Then we can start seeing the 20 supported around 218, 220. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, as soon as we break that 5, we're coming to the 20. Make no mistake there. Uh, so, so let's see where the fibs are. Where the fibs at right now. So we're above this one. Yeah, this will hold us too. So the midline on the fib Bollingers here is at $2.30 exactly. So, and the next one, the 386, 386, 387. I never remember that one. 382. Ah, man, I'm so off on it. 382. You got the 382, the 618. All right. The 382 is all the way up at 311, and the 618 is all the way up at 362. So there's a lot of room here, especially if we come back, tap this thing at 230, and then carry on our merry way again. Ooh, man, that'll be pretty fantastic for Bitfarms. But let's take a look at the Chinese market now. We haven't looked at this in a little while now. It did this huge run from January all the way up because there was stimulus. Now, this is the weekly chart. The daily chart, I'll show you why I don't look at the daily chart on this one, because it is all over the place, huge gaps all over, because a lot of this action happens while we're sleeping. Since it's a Chinese index, a lot of the trading happens while we're asleep, so you don't see as much volume while we're awake over here in the United States. So it's kind of useless to look at the day because it's all over the place. Now on the daily, we look like we have this little leg here, and this looks like it wants to come down to the 50 at $26.02. And if we go to the weekly, $26.02 is a little bit above the 20 week. Bet you it's right at the 13. Let me change this to a 13. $25.80. All right, 25. Oh, this is the 50 week. Excuse me, the 50 week's at 25 there. So 25.80. Yeah, I'd be looking for 26 to 25.80, somewhere between that little box for this thing to come up. Now, I'd do it from here to about, let's give it 26.12. Sure, 26.12, 26.14. That little box. I'm looking for it to come into this box here before I'd be looking for any kind of reversal on here. Now that could change. And the only way that's going to change is if this weekly candle here turns into a hammer. If this weekly candle down here becomes a hammer at the bottom of the range, then I might be looking for it to start come up above the 5 week again at 27, and maybe even start running for the high again around 29. If this fails to give me a hammer and this turns red and starts just making a red doji candle here, then I'd be looking for it to come down into the 13 week, maybe even the 50 week, somewhere between 26.16 and 25.80, somewhere in that range. That's what I'd be looking for if I don't get a hammer candle on that for the weekly. So that's what we're looking at here. So again, this one's just a sit, watch, and wait sort of scenario right now. And that's that. That's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.